Yeah, yeah, yeah. So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge, they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Happy 2025. We made it. We made it. And thank you guys so much for coming over here on tonight so that we can go over the latest legal news. As you come in, make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and hit that notification bell so you know when I come on. For those of you that don't know, my name is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. For those of you that have been supporting me and rocking with me for a while, thank you so much for your support. Shout out to all of my mods. They make sure the chat stays respectful, because sometimes, depending on the topic, it gets a little, gets a little personal. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much for being mods and keeping the chat in order. I appreciate every last one of my mods. I have some of the best mods over here on the internet. And also, thank you guys so much for going over. I posted in the membership that my dad started his YouTube page, and he's going to be doing, I told you I'm a PK, so y'all know what he over there doing, okay? And he's 75, and this is a new thing for him. And I just thought it would be a great way for him to still do what he loves to do, and that is being a servant of God, and do it out the comfort of your home when you're retired. So he decided to go ahead and take the advice and get on YouTube, and he's already at about 100 subscribers because of my members. So thank you guys so much for that. I'm going to put, let me find his link. I'm going to put his link over there because I'm trying to get him to at least 100, before the end of the day. Let me see. Yeah, he got like 90. What is it? Looks like he got about 90 subscribers now. So I'm going to put that over here. Thank you guys. I appreciate that so very much. I'm gonna have to come back in too, because some of you guys, I am gonna make additional mods, because we have some mods who haven't been over here in a while. And though I appreciate the season that they were over here, sometimes it's time for change when 2025 comes. So again, you guys, make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. Not you called him Daddy Intellect. That Daddy Intellect. Thank you, Rebellious, for subbing. Thank you so much. Yep, I dropped the link, Granny the Great. Thank you guys so much. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you guys so much. You guys made this day, because I put it over there because I said, listen, I don't want him talking to himself, because that can be discouraging. We already got over 100. Thank you guys so much. I was like, that can be a bit discouraging, because I remember when I started, and I used to be thinking I'm spitting some good legal stuff. And I would be talking to my own self. And then I would be geeked like, oh, I got 50 views. I remember telling Dev, like, I got 50 views, Dev. I got 50 views. But I had to encourage myself, because nobody knew who I was. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff, just like with my personal practice, I don't have to advertise. It's word of mouth. And I knew once I got the right people that were able to appreciate what I had to give, that my people would come And I love every last one of my intellects. You guys are like the best ever, and you support everything that I do. And for that, I am so grateful and all of that. Y'all gonna make me get all mushy. So, and I don't do that because I'm a thug. I'm from 7 Mile, okay? All right. But anyways, let's get on. Ray said, I feel like if he wasn't worth hearing, you wouldn't be encouraging him to do this, so I'll be over there listening. You know, he the old school now. He been doing this. He was a pastor for, he's still actually pastoring, but in theory, he's supposed to be retired. You know what that means, you know. But he's done it my whole life. So I mean, and he's done it for over 40 years, I think. So he's that old school. You from 6 Mile? It's okay, Andrea. We still love you over there on 6 Mile. Welcome, welcome. Linda, happy new year. Thank you guys for all of you guys that's saying you will support. I love y'all back. I really do. I really, really do. But yeah, it was very encouraging, you know, when he saw you guys in the chat. I was like, he ain't gonna know what to do because I didn't tell him I was gonna do it. I was just like, go live, you know. I set up the StreamYard when I went to visit him for Christmas, and I spent my Christmas with him. So I set up StreamYard, and I was like, you're gonna have to learn how to do it yourself now. So today was the day, and he went over there and he started, and then I put the link in there, and you guys went over there and supported. So shout out to y'all for just being the best out there, just the kindest, supportive people that are there. So you said you can appreciate it. That's what I told him too. Now, don't be tearing now. Don't be over there. You know, we used to have the Sunday school. Then we had a church. Then you had an afternoon service. Then you had to go visit a church. Then you had dinner in between. We're not doing all that over here on YouTube. We're not doing that. We're going to say what our scriptures are, and we're going to go do it. We're going to move on. You know, some of us need some prayer. Come up here, give us some prayer, you know, and those that need it, they gonna go ahead and do it. And those that don't, then, you know, them not your people. Don't get discouraged about who's not your people, because everybody's not your people. That's what I learned on YouTube. You said I'm old school also. I'll be in the pew saying, right. You'll be like, take your time, pastor. Oh, you one of them people that probably made us be in church all day, because the pastor say, I got 5 more minutes. And you like, take your time, pastor. We like, ma'am, why are you telling him to take his time? He didn't did it. He said he had 5 minutes like 20 times already. Why are you telling him to take his time? I just never understood. Take your time. It's all right. We ain't got no place to go. Speak for yourself, ma'am. Speak for yourself. But anyways, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. We also had a super sticker earlier. I don't know why it came off of here. Let me see. But we're here to talk about it. We got a couple of subjects on today. I didn't want to break it up because one of them was so short, and we kind of talked about it. We had a good time on New Year's where we did our mashup of all of the stories. And one of those stories we talked about was Basketball Wives Jennifer Williams. Okay. Let me see. Thank you, Dina, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Let me see. Let me pull that up. We might have to bring that back. Before I start talking about Jennifer Williams, we got an update on her. We got some things that didn't happen. See. Let me see if I could fast forward. I saw that filing today. I was like, lady, let's see. Okay, this her. Okay, let me see. Let me go back. All right. Okay, let me. Our next story here is Jennifer Williams and Christian Gold. We can't forget about basketball ex-wife Jennifer Williams, who planned this elaborate wedding in Paris with her boo Christian Gold, who we found out his real name was really Christian Walden, who was on probation for an incident that happened with this ex-girlfriend where he was convicted of a crime and he owed restitution. Well, right before the wedding, suddenly and without warning, a warrant was issued for his arrest. But Jennifer said, "You guys are all just miserable. I love him. Y'all all lying. Ain't none of this true." Well, interesting. Christian decided to go to court on that warrant that we all made up. And he had a hearing just days before the wedding ceremony to see if he could even participate in his own wedding. Well, the judge did allow him to go. Jen got mad at the internet for knowing more about her man than she did. Girl, what did we do? I mean, what we do? That's all I'm saying. Now, we have to, sometimes you got to bring things to folks' remembrance. Now, when the other guy you dated, this guy right here on the stream, stole your truck and you posted on your Instagram that you needed our help to locate your truck. So now when we try to engage in preventive measures to make sure you don't have to do another post trying to search all over Georgia for your dignity, now we supposed to stay out your business. But nonetheless, after all the drama, she still went on to Paris to get married, only to find out she just got married for real in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. I guess sometimes a red flag isn't enough for people. The only way you can get through to them is if the Heavenly Father comes down personally, sits on their lap, or they sit on his lap, and they have a conversation, and he says, "Jen, don't be dumb," in an audible voice. Girl, Jen, you play too much, but good luck, sis. Good luck. Okay. So, we talked about Jen in our mashup, all right? Well, today, there was a filing. And you guys will never guess what this filing was about, okay? This filing, do y'all know Christian Walden, aka Gold's attorney, is withdrawing as counsel. Now, his attorney, I'm assuming the one that was there at the hearing for the warrant that the internet allegedly made up, but he was there for the hearing. His attorney, did his thing, was able to get him where he went to the wedding in Paris. He did like a couple of days, then he went to Paris, then he had to come back and finish out a couple of weeks. He did like 15 days, I think, all in all, because they do like a day for a day or something. Someone was explaining to me, because he really got 30 days for violating his probation. So on today, there was a motion to withdraw as counsel. Comes now Michael Maloof Jr., attorney of record for Christian Walden, in this matter, and respectfully requests leave to withdraw under the provisions of Rule 4.3 of the Uniform Superior Court Rules of Georgia, and shows this honorable court the following. The defendant has failed to adhere to the terms of the retainer agreement and has not paid the agreed upon fees. Despite repeated requests and efforts to secure payment, let me get on this screen. Despite repeated requests and offers to secure payment, including numerous communications from counsel, the defendant has not satisfied the payment obligation as stipulated in the retainer agreement. What? Counsel has made multiple attempts to contact the defendant to resolve the payment issue and remind the defendant of the contractual obligation. However, the defendant has not made any reasonable effort to address the payment and has failed to remit payment for services rendered. No. To Will Twist said this is an attempt to collect the debt. This call is being recorded for monitoring and training purposes. This is an attempt to collect the debt. That's, and you know what? They're doing videos. They're doing videos of which I could not imagine. Well, no, we've all went through that as attorneys where people did not pay you because you just are not their priority. So what we were trained, and what I tell newer attorneys, and that's not saying he's a newer attorney, is you always get as much money up front as you can if you're going to do it from a retainer standpoint. And the reasoning is some after you get done with your obligations, oftentimes they don't have an incentive to pay you. So I've had situations where it was time for, when I did criminal, because this happens the most in criminal, right? Because most of the civil I do contingency anyway, so you don't have to pay a retainer, you just pay me with what I recover. But where literally with somebody, you didn't work miracles, you turn water into wine. And then what I will do is I will tell them on the day where you're entering in your plea or whatever it is, oh, well, I can move the plea until you give me my money. Because what will happen oftentimes is when people are afraid, or when they don't know what the future is and they're afraid of the unknown, then they don't have a problem with your retainer. But then you don't become priority towards the end. That, I'm just saying my experience. I ain't saying this is what happened with him. I'm just saying. But I can't imagine watching videos of somebody who is getting on jets and doing, because they vlogged their life. So that means this attorney probably saw that they went to Vegas, probably saw that they, were staying in a luxurious hotel or wherever they was at. Everything that we saw, that mean the attorney could have saw. And then you not trying to give me my money. This is an allegation. He may come out and say it ain't true, the guy ain't did what he was supposed to do. We don't know. This is just this man's allegation. Let me just be clear. But he says counsel has made multiple attempts to contact the defendant to resolve the payment issue and remind the defendant of his obligations. However, the defendant has not made any reasonable efforts to address payment and has failed to remit payment of services rendered. Given the defendant's refusal to meet the agreed upon payment terms, and in light of the breakdown in the attorney-client relationship, it is no longer feasible or ethical for counsel to continue representing the defendant. The defendant has been informed of the intention to file this motion to withdraw, and the defendant has been made aware that the failure to pay could result in withdrawal of counsel. Christian Walden has consented to his attorney's withdrawal, so apparently he doesn't care if his attorney withdraws, as he has not objected to the withdrawal as of the filing of this motion. Michael Maloof Jr. has given his client notice of the intention to withdraw on the December 20th, 2024, before submitting this request to the court, as shown by the attached certificate of service that's attached after this. So he tells where he sent it to the last known address, and he got all his information on there, which of course I'm not putting it out there. In accordance therewith, the undersigned certifies defendant Christian Golden is further informed under the rules that DeKalb County Superior Court retains jurisdiction of this matter. Christian Walden has the burden of keeping the court informed of his current address for the services of notices, pleadings, or other papers. Christian Walden has the obligation to prepare to go forward with the case. If Christian Walden fails or refuses to meet these obligations, he may suffer adverse consequences, including in criminal cases, bond forfeiture and arrest. Dates of any scheduled proceedings, including trial, that holding of such proceeding will not be affected by the withdrawal of counsel. He's on probation, so he doesn't have a trial that I know of that would be coming up, but I assume, again, this is under the rules that this is the information you have to advise the client before you are allowed to withdraw. Christian must file an objection to this motion to withdraw with this court no later than 10 days from the date of filing this motion. Thus far, Christian Walden has not objected. Because the requirements of Georgia Superior Court Rule 4.3 and Georgia Rule of Professional Conduct 1.16 are satisfied here, the undersigned counsel respectfully requests that the court permit him to withdraw. So his attorney is requesting that he be allowed to withdraw from this case for non-payment. What do y'all gotta say? Hey, brother, said Happy New Year. Okay, Miss Munch. Hey, I'm see if you guys have something to say. Shay B said his dumb can't help moving like a, you know what? This was just ridiculous. You knew it was gonna get. If he told you, if the lawyer said, if you don't pay, I am going to withdraw. Maybe there's a dispute on his bill of particulars. Maybe he feel like he overpaid and he ain't supposed to, he hasn't justified his amount of money. I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna give it on both sides. It could be that maybe he felt like he didn't do all the things that he said he was gonna do, or he hasn't itemized what he's done based on the retainer. Because I don't know what his retainer was. I don't know. But Christian, you have 10 days to object. So if you have an objection, then you may want to go ahead and do so. You said now Christian is a $6 million man. That's what he said. That's what he said. The woman he chose said, is there a way for attorneys to get their money in situations like this? Can you sue the person? Yeah, you can actually get orders. Sometimes you can get judgments. Yeah, you can sue them. And if you get a judgment, you can collect like you do everything else. I know attorneys that have done all type of things to get. See, I don't do too much where you need a retainer agreement. Usually, if you do criminal, you do take retain. You get as much money as you can up front. That is rule 101 for any new attorneys. But when you do a lot of the kind of work that I do, that's civilly, you use your own money before you even get to that point of trial or settlement to prayerfully recoup your money back on a win. So you take a chance, you take a chance on the client that you represent. That's just how much you believe in their cause and believe that they should get some type of recompense for whatever you're suing for. But yeah, it's a trip with retainers. Cause you made that first go round might be your only go around. Cassandra said, Jen, girl, you better wake up. What's the name of my father's channel? Let me put it on here for you. I'm gonna post it again for all of you guys. It's 737. I want you guys to, if you guys will be so inclined to go over there. My father has started a channel and I'm trying to, encourage him and support him. So thank you guys so much. You guys are always coming through for me. I appreciate that. You said so. You could definitely, no. I couldn't. Can attorneys write that loss off on taxes? The cost? I guess so. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to ask my accountant. I just don't. Again, I don't really be fooling around with retainers. It's been about 10 years. Every now and there's things, and it's usually doing something for family and friends that I'll take a upfront retainer and that's it. Because they're the ones that come to you with my landlord putting me out, kind of the go to court 1 or 2 times to try to handle it or come to some type of agreement. Or like the contracts I do for some celebrities, I have a flat rate that I do for that when I do them. But other than that, I don't really have that issue. I'm gonna be honest. I only dealt with that, like I said, it's probably been about 10 years ago. And how I handled it, after the first time somebody did me like that, they were good. Like they were playing like every week. And I'm good with a payment arrangement. When it comes to criminal, a lot of people ain't pre-planning it. Sometimes things happen, especially if it's their kid or something like that. So it wasn't in your budget for the month. So with the whole every week or however you can pay, that's fine. I've always been, and I was excited. Like I was newer in the game and I was just excited. I was trying to go to court every chance I could get. And so, because of that, you got played a lot because people would take your niceness, your eagerness, and your passion, and they would take advantage of it. And then I just learned how to do like some of the craziest deals that nobody probably would have ever gotten. And then I wouldn't even put the deal on the record basically until you made sure you were paid up. I'll move the date. Like, okay, you want this to get dismissed? Oh, well, you're going to have to pay my money. You just have to find ways or whatever. But I would be a little annoyed if somebody owed me money and I was seeing them living their best life. I probably would get a little annoyed. That's the thing about social media. Happy New Year, Kelly. Good to see you. Yes, please get the likes up. Dev is back. He been working every day. How much did they leave owing you, Pam? Trust me, I ain't had no and I don't have problem garnishing wages. I've gotten judgments and I've had to garnish wages. It's only $15 to get the form. So when they would say, I'm not paying you nothing, and I had to order, I'd be like, okay, we just went through litigation. I know where you work at. Like, I know everything that I know all of that. And that sometimes that happens on the other side as well. Like when the court orders them to pay your attorney fees. Sometimes they'll be like, I'm not paying you nothing. You're like, oh, okay. Or you just garnish their wages or whatever. You start getting checks like you work for their company every month. if you're like straight up, hey, if you're like straight up with everything and you tell me what's up and what situation you're in. Because I was in a time, one of the things that made me be a lawyer is I needed a lawyer and I couldn't afford one. So it made me go back and change my whole profession. So because of that, I get it. I'm very understandable, but you're not going to just play me for a fool either. Like, you're not going to tell me you don't have my money, but then I see you at the Usher concert with your new outfit and your hair done. Like, no. If you want me to represent you, you should have went to if you had them tickets already, you should have went there with a bushy ponytail, okay? Your nails should be looking like you polished them. That's how I feel. But people will play you like that. That's just what it is. So anyway, it happens all the time. So yeah, so that's what he's alleging over there, Christian. They saying you ain't paid your debt, so he has time to respond. And of course, we're fair. If he responds, we'll discuss it. We'll discuss his responses if he has one. You know. Yes, bushy ponytail with the poofed up edges. That's how you should be looking. Not if you owe me money. You owe me money. Just don't even go on Instagram. Don't go on Facebook because I might put in the oh, you look really nice. That hair probably was $100. Those nails at least $50. I know everything has went up. Oh, and you went and got your makeup done because you know how people do. They'll be in the chair with all showing their makeup artist, putting it on there and showing their whole process. They put everything on the internet. You go there, I'm like, that's $30 for gas. Oh, you at least pay $20 in Detroit for parking. I'm gonna be all up in your chat tallying up how much, and I'm be like, but you know how much you could have knocked off your bill if you would have paid me. I'm too petty to be having people play with my money on a retainer. So that's just that. You said, I didn't even think about that. Petty Patty said that attorney waited until he saw a copy of that marriage license, said, Jim, come pay your husband's bill. I even think about that. Yeah. Because their marriage license was what, like the 18th or something? And this attorney said that he contacted him on the 20th. So yeah. I think he probably looked at them videos and knew they was in Vegas. And then the court has extended it because he got permission to go out of the state because his probation is currently in Georgia. I'm sure he'll probably try to get it moved, or he's trying to get non-reporting is what he's trying to get. And his attorney probably well, he got it extended for 30 more days. So that's I'm assuming how he's able to go to Vegas and all of that, because he said it was for work or something. And then on their video, they said they plan on moving to Vegas. So yeah, I that attorney probably was like, listen, oh, okay. No. You got to use the blue gel. Remember back in the day, they had the big tubs and it was that blue gel like you had. No, you better do your hair yourself. I better see you looking just like this. Like, man, I had already got these tickets in advance, before, but I don't even have the money to even get an outfit. Cause that's what people will do. Like, they will do what they want. I gotta do it for me. I'm tired of always paying bills. No, that's okay. I don't want to pay these bills. It's these shoes. I ain't bought nothing for myself in 2 years. I'm gonna take this money and I'm gonna do self-care. That's what they'll do with the money. It's like, that's not your money. When you use my services, that's my money. So I don't really fool up too much with. And oftentimes when I do stuff, I just don't have the anticipation with what I do oftentimes. So I don't even get mad about it. I make my money how I do it with my other cases that I do regularly. So I don't know that the GA judge likes that she was duped. I don't know if she was duped. I think they were actually doing some type of work stuff, from my understanding. Early morning advice said, Pam, I was watching YouTube and this guy was using your clips. I was trying to send it to you, but couldn't. I did get a copyright. I did get a copyright thing today. So maybe that's why. I've never struck people's channels, but I don't know. 2025 might bring something in. But I did get an alert from YouTube of somebody that was using my clips. So I did get a copyright thing. So they will alert me. I have it on my features. But thank you so much for looking out for your girl with people trying to rip off my work. You can try, but you can't, you can't be me. You can't do what I do. That's it. It's only one me. Shoot, we had 180 subs over there. We gonna hit 200. We gonna hit 200 subs over there on my dad's channel. Shout out to y'all. You said to be an alleged scammers flogging their lies is less than smart. Yeah, but sometimes you got it. You're so concerned about people proving to the people that you're unbothered. People that you don't know, people you will probably never meet a day in your life, but you want to prove to me, a random, that you are unbothered. And so now you got to show, we're happy over here. We're good. We're good over here. I don't know why people are so worried about us and our lives. We're good over here. You want to show putting up Christmas trees, and I mean, that's just what they do, because they want to make the public wrong. You ain't got to make me wrong. You got to live with him at the end of the day. This is y'all. Go to counseling. Do what y'all got to do. If you're willing to work through whatever kinks that he come with or whatever baggage he come in, then at the end of the day, it is your choice. That's your choice, honey. You ain't got to prove nothing to me. So, but anyway, so that's our girl Jen. Now, let's move on. On our last video where we were talking, not the New Year's mashup, but the last main video that we did, we talked about the Jay-Z saga. Of course, that saga never ends. And so Jay-Z's attorney basically said, hey, I'm asking the court for permission to file a dismissal. I'm going to follow the rules, because remember, the court said you hadn't been following the rules, okay? So he said, I'm asking the court permission to file a dismissal, and we went over what were the reasons for the dismissal. And so in response, on New Year's Eve, Busby, who was representing Jane Doe, filed a response to what the video was that we did on the dismissal and what the reasons that Jay-Z's attorney Spiro is going to file a dismissal on. For those of you that don't really know what's going on with Jay-Z, I don't know where you've been. All right. But Jay-Z is included in a lawsuit where a young lady is saying when she was 13, Diddy, him, and Celebrity B, who is a woman, essayed her. She done ran out the house naked. Her daddy done picked her up, but the daddy don't remember. They said the house wasn't even there. The jumbotrons wasn't there. It's just a mess, okay? And since then, Jay-Z and his team have filed motions and letters and everything every day trying to get it dismissed. And basically, Busby, all of a sudden, these people have come out the woodwork saying he's a horrible attorney and they're trying to sue him for this and that and this and that. And all of this was after Jay-Z was added to the lawsuit. That was previously, he was anonymous, but apparently Busby tried to settle outside of putting him on there on the lawsuit. And Jay-Z was like, no, bro, you're trying to extort me out of money. And he actually sued Jay-Z in California, which he's amended that complaint as well. For those of you that don't know, he's amended that complaint. And he actually, now that his name is out, he just added his information on there and he amended complaint. So that's what's going on with Jay-Z. So let's go on. This is what Busby, the letter that Busby filed on. Busby had all these stories of him being in Utah climbing mountains, but apparently while he was over there climbing mountains, it looks like somebody was in his office typing. I don't know how it went, because he had a bunch of pictures where he in Utah living his best life. And then he had this letter filed on New Year's Eve. So anyway, and he's basically saying that Jay-Z's arguments of why he wants the case dismissed are not valid arguments, and he shouldn't be allowed to even try to dismiss this case because his arguments aren't valid. So he says, I write on behalf of plaintiff Jane Doe in response to defendant Sean Carter's letter dated December 30th, 2024, pursuant to which defendant requests leave to file a motion pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedures 12b-6 to dismiss plaintiff's first amended complaint, or FAC. So when you see FAC through there, that's the first amended complaint. Defendant states his intention to move for dismissal on the ground that Doe cannot pursue her claims under the New York City Victims of Gender Motivation Violence Protection Act. And we actually went over the cases that Jay-Z's attorney used in support of that, the GMVA. Basically, there was a statute of limitation issue. And he says, because the GMVA does not have retroactive effects. So they're saying it doesn't go backwards. It was prospective. And these events allegedly happened in September that Jane Doe is alleging, but this statute did not occur until December of that year, of 2000. So you can't go back. This statute can't apply because it doesn't have retroactive effect. However, this is what he's saying as his argument against Jay-Z's attorney on the retroactive effect. He says, however, neither the Second Circuit nor the New York Court of Appeals has endorsed this reading of the GMVA. And so he's saying that the Second Circuit, which is their Court of Appeals, nor did the New York Courts of Appeals or the Second Circuit federally, that none of them have adopted this reading of the GMVA. So what we talked about is you have persuasive authority, which is when you have like district court or non-published opinions. And what Jay-Z's attorney did was, and we looked up the case Lewis v. Niederhofer, he used persuasive authority because it was a unpublished opinion. It was from the Southern District of New York. So it was from the district court. So it's not considered precedent, or it's not considered authority, So what he says is, in support of his argument, defendant cites a trial court order decided in an unopposed record. Remember, she was pro se, which is merely persuasive authority. That is true. It's just persuasive, meaning that the court can choose to use that as their authority or not. It's up to them. It's not like binding precedent. Because when you have binding precedent, the court is supposed to adhere to that precedent. With this, it's just persuasive. So you can choose whether you want to go with this authority or not. So they being Jay-Z, quoted Lewis v. Niederhofer, which was a pro se plaintiff failing to brief GMVPL retroactively issue. because that person was pro se and they didn't even respond. And then Adams v. Jenkins, a 2005 case, they said plaintiff failing to adjust GMVA retroactively issued. So he's saying there's no binding authority where the courts that have authority have actually dealt with this issue. So basically what Jay-Z's attorney is giving you persuasive authority, not precedent on what you're supposed to and have to abide by. Defendant's argument as to the GMVA is unpersuasive, as it is contrary to the law's primary intention to make it easier for victims of gender-motivated violence to seek civil remedies in court, not as defendant would have it make it harder. New York City passed the GMVA in light of the void left by the Supreme Court's decision in U.S. v. Morrison, NYC Admin Code Section 8-902. Morrison struck down the federal right of action for victims of gender-motivated violence under the Violence Against Women Act. Essentially, what he's doing is because there's no binding authority. Oftentimes, when you want to know the intent of a statute, you go back and you look at the legislative history and you see what their purpose is, what they say the reason behind it was. So he's saying the reason behind it was to make it easier for people to file civil remedies. If we take it where it's not retroactive, then we're going to make it harder. So that goes against what the reasoning for the statute was, or amending the statute was in the first place. Okay. The Supreme Court, however, urged local governments to provide a remedy to women like Morrison who have been brutally essayed, as no civilized system of justice could fail to provide her a remedy. New York City rallied to that call and passed the GMVA. So it sounds like the reasoning why this law was passed, looking at the history, was because there was no remedy for this particular woman who had been brutally essayed. And so they said, y'all need to pass something so she could have a remedy civilly. And that's how a lot of laws are actually passed when something happens. So, and I always, when I talk about this situation with people where you look at the legislative history of why certain laws are passed, one of the things we have in Michigan is torture. And the reason why they passed the law on torture was there was I'm gonna see if I remember the story correctly, because I remember having to cite this on one of my cases. There was I think he was a paramedic. He had a wife that was a paraplegic and he took care of her. So what he was doing was he was like suffocating her and then actually assaulting her, but then he would do CPR and bring her back to life. It was something wild like that. So he would basically unalive her, bring her back to life, and somebody found this on videotape that this is what he had been doing. And because of that, though, there was really no law to cover it, because in theory he ain't unalive her. So it was like there was nothing to really, like there was nothing to fit that in there. So that's how the torture statute came about. Then you had I'm probably missing some stuff here and there, but that's generally what it is. The same thing with, we have something called guilty but mentally ill. That came about in a lot of states because if you plead insanity, you go get treatment, you go to the psych ward, and once they deem you sane, you free. You get to go out on the street. Well, and I believe that's what happened with the person who allegedly tried to unalive Ronald Reagan, if I'm correct. So you plead insanity, and the point of insanity is once they deem you sane, you get to be free. Well, they started passing a law called guilty but mentally ill, and the reasoning for that was because now if you plead guilty but mentally ill, you still got to take your hind end to jail, but they have to give you the mental health treatment that you require. So that was their way to remedy that. So it's always interesting a lot of times with lawyers when you have newer laws that come out and there's not much case law interpreting that statute, you go and you look at the legislative history as to why they even made this statue in the first place. And this is what Busby did. It looks like is he looked at the history, and the reasoning is to give a remedy. And if you're saying, oh, you're stopped from bringing this because it's not retroactive by 2 months, then you're basically going against what the purpose of the statute is. That's what he's saying. Because right now, all Jay-Z has is persuasive authority. So the judge can say, I agree with you, Jay-Z. I'm going to go with what they said. Or the judge can say, no, I'm going to see this through and I'm going to come with a different ruling. They don't have to. They can actually come up with how they interpret the statute. So there's that. I saw that. I really did. Peacock has a new documentary on Puffy that will be out January 14th. Yeah, I saw Sarah from Making the Band was supposed to be on that. So Kelly said, oh, that makes sense. I think Andrea Yates received a guilty but mentally ill sentence. And some people don't know what it means. Like I know somebody that pled it, and I think they thought that they were going to get treatment and it was insanity, like that situation. And once you got your treatment and got your medication and they said you were good, you'll get out. But no, you're just supposed to get your treatment while you're in jail. That's it. It's 930 of you. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Thank you so much. Okay. Now let's move on. The council sought, therefore, to create a private right of action for victims of gender-motivated violence to resolve the difficulty that victims face in seeking court remedies by providing an officially sanctioned and legitimate cause of action for seeking redress for injuries resulting from gender-motivated violence. And that's the NYC Admin Code, Section 902. Quote, it is fundamental that interpreting a statute, a court should attempt to effectuate the intent of the legislature. And that is Cadiz Jones, which is a 2002 case, which held that based on statutory text and history, that the GMVA was intended to apply retroactively. So he has some persuasive authority, of which it says that the Gender Motivated Violence Act is supposed to be retroactive. The council intended the GMVA to make it easier for victims of gender-motivated violence to seek court remedies, and it is intended the same when it passed the 2022 amendment to the law. And they're looking at city council hearing testimony from November 29, 2021 at page 41, where the testimony in support of Act's passage describing actual abuse in 93. And they also looked at the hearing transcripts from November 29th of 2021 at pages 129 to 30, which says, quote, in summary, there is no timeline on processing trauma, end quote. So he done dug up the papers, okay? He dug up the papers, and Busby said, let me tell you, Judge, what the intent is. And there's also some cases that are persuasive that say it's supposed to be retroactive. So it's going to be how the judge interprets it. Similarly, defendant also intends, so this is the second reason why Jay-Z said he was going to seek dismissal. Similarly, the defendant also intends to seek dismissal on the grounds that, quote, any viable GMV law claim is time barred under New York's Child Victim Act, which preempts plaintiff's GMV law claim. However, this court in Doe v. Gooding found that, quote, local anti-discrimination laws are generally not preempted by state law in New York. So he came up with a case that he's saying says the opposite. Moreover, in Doe v. Black, this court rejected the very same argument defendant makes here. So he says in September 27th of 2024, over there in the U.S. District Court in the Southern District, there was a court that basically rejected this same argument, and he cites a 2024 case. So that just happened a few months ago. Finally, this was the third argument. Defendants intend to seek dismissal on the grounds that the conduct alleged in the FAC could not have occurred in New York, based on, quote, plaintiff's description of the residence in question, combined with public records, confirms that any such residence was located outside of the New York City, as defendant seeks to rely on evidence outside of the pleading, which would transform a motion to dismiss to one for a motion for summary judgment. And as discovery is not yet underway, it is respectfully submitted that defendant's proposed motion is procedurally improper and should be denied. Now that is true. When you file a 12B motion, you're basically looking at the front page. I say the front page, but the whole document, you're looking within the document. You can't go outside of the document. If you want to go outside the document and add exhibits and deposition transcripts and all of that and pictures of the houses and all of the and affidavits from people and all of that, then that would be a summary judgment. And typically they don't do summary judgments this early on because you haven't went through discovery. So they don't dismiss it on a summary judgment typically because you haven't even been through discovery. So those was his responses. So he says, in light of the foregoing, plaintiff respectfully requests the court to deny defendant's request to file a motion to dismiss. Okay. So he was just asking that the court don't even allow him to file a motion to dismiss. I knew the court was going to let him file it. I mean, what the court decides is a whole different situation. So what the court said was they are going to grant. The court has reviewed defendant Sean Carter's letter seeking leave to file a motion to dismiss plaintiff's amended complaint and plaintiff's letter in opposition. Accordingly, Carter's request to file a motion to dismiss is granted. So he filed, all he was doing was filing a request to file a dismissal. That was it. So the court is going to allow him to file his dismissal. He has to file it by February 6th, which is the day after my birthday. For y'all that don't know, my birthday is February 5th. It's coming up quite quickly, okay? Just want to throw that out there. So by February 6th, Carter has to file his motion. And then by February 28th, the plaintiff is going to file opposition papers. So they have to respond. And then by March 14th, Carter shall file his reply. So we probably won't even hear a hearing on this till the end of March or April. So much for trying to get this done with and fast and out of the media. So there's that. The court is going to allow him to go ahead and to file his motion to dismiss. Again, I've seen some of the headlines that are not, they're not worded accurately. The judge is not allowing a dismissal. The judge is just allowing him to file the motion. As you saw from the order where the judge was going off just a tad bit on not following their rules and practices and procedures for their local courts with how they were moving with these motions and filing these letters. Before you file these motions, you're supposed to file a letter requesting permission to file motions, which some jurisdictions do, I guess. Our jurisdiction, where I practice, they just tell us you got until April to file any motions for summary judgment. You got till so-and-so for your replies and like they do. Once you file it, they may give you a schedule because they got to give you a hearing date. But apparently the way they do it is they want you to seek permission to even file the motion to dismiss. And so that's all he was doing, was seeking permission to file the motion to dismiss. I don't see a reason why the court would deny that. And so the court granted, and it's going to allow him to file it. And then Jane Doe, Busby, they'll be able to respond. And then Sean Carter will probably reply to the response because, he gets the last word. And then you go to the hearing, and the judge will do an order whether they're going to grant it or deny it. So we won't know this for another couple of months. So that's it. Hey, January 15th, Miss Lorraine. Oh, look at all these Februarys. W. Joyce, hey. All right, y'all. It's a lot of you done piled on in here, almost 1,000. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. I'm going to put my daddy's thing right here again because y'all over here y'all showing out, subscribing to the channel. Sure. Got them feeling important. We got over 200 subs over there. We moving. Thank you guys so much for all of the support. Again, I can always count on you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, y'all, over here. You got to take care of this house and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Beautifully Made 13 has been a member for 4 months, and I so appreciate it. Only Me 23 has gifted a membership. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What else? I think I owe you guys some memberships. Let me see. Let me see. I know I did some memberships earlier, but let's do some more. Let's do some more. Why not? Why not? Somebody has a birthday. Somebody say they had a birthday. Let me see. Course correction said usually statute has to explicitly state its retroactivity, but I don't know how this statute will work if it's not retroactive. That is true. It's very honestly, it's very rare that they do retroactivity. That I do agree with. It usually explicitly says it, and the legislature has to explicitly say that it's retroactive. Otherwise, it's almost a presumption that it's prospective. But I agree with you. How does it not become retroactive if you're trying to help people from the 90s? If the person that is testifying is saying, the one that's testifying on behalf, because they'll take testimony before the legislature to figure out what is needed in the statute before they pass it and why it's necessary and all of that. And so if the testimony, according to Busby, what he cited was people were giving testimonies from 93. So if they were making those testimonies as part of their rationale for passing the statute, then it seems like they would have been considering things that were prior incidents, alleged incidents that were prior to. And like they said, trauma has no expiration date. You have some people that might feel more comfortable because you have so many people that are now coming out and telling their stories. This just may be the season or the environment for people to come out now. And so now it seems like if you put these restrictions, then it would defeat the purpose, is what his argument is. I think it's a decent argument that Busby has. So we'll see how it goes. Absolutely. Happy birthday to all my January intellects. I might have to start having some type of celebration or something. Andrea said, thanks for the birthday wishes, the big 5-0. Happy birthday, Andrea. Happy birthday to you and many, many more. Many, many more. So Bobby said, I don't believe a 13-year-old autistic child was alone in New York City and parents had no concern about her whereabouts. Sounds like a lawyer trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It's going to be very interesting because now I see people that are trying to move the date so that it's a catch-22 when you're a public figure, because what you want to do is you want to win over the public first. But when you're winning over the public, you're showing your hand. So I've seen this in several incidents where, because the person was trying to defend themselves in the public, now the alleged accuser, they fit their story into what they said. Oh, well, maybe I really wasn't 13, perhaps I was really 15. Oh, well, maybe the house wasn't white, maybe it was blue. Well, maybe it wasn't in this area, because you're giving them the opportunity to basically change their stories. And does that happen? It does. When you look at criminal cases, you have a lot of people that'll tell a story. They'll go to the police and they'll give a statement. Then once they look like they're the suspect, they're going to go back and they're going to add more to it. And what you do is you try to test or challenge their credibility on cross-examination. But at the end of the day, just like what happened with Tori and Kelsey, it's going to be up to the jury who they think, when you told the right story or when you told the truth. So it might be 3 different statements, but it's going to be up to a jury on when they believe it. So that's going to be a credibility thing. You've given her the chance to say, well, maybe I wasn't 13, I really was 16, which to me, I'd be like, yeah, okay, so you don't, I know the difference between when I was 13 and 16 and what was going on. You driving at 16, you're in high school. Like, it's just certain differences in those ages. But you give them the chance to kind of fix it. But when you're a public figure, you almost feel like you don't have a choice, because your brand, your money, your identity, your family, everything is in the media. So now you show your hand on what your arguments are. And that's what his attorney did. He did an entire press conference of which he laid out all of the inconsistencies, and he asked the court to dismiss it, which The court's not going to dismiss it based on you saying there's inconsistencies. It's always inconsistencies. That is why you do that on cross-examination. You'll say, well, in this, and you said you went to the house at 9 o'clock and the porch light was off. Well, no, I was there at 5 o'clock and the porch light was on. Do you recall when you did a preliminary examination? Yeah, when you was over there in that building over there of which you had to testify. And when you testified, you said you were going to tell the truth. You were honest when you testified there, didn't you? You were honest, you told the truth. You go through all of that, and then you're like, okay, here's a piece of paper. I want you to read line 5. Oh, I guess I did say it was 9 o'clock. Instead, and the house was blue. And the porch light was, off. Like that's how you do it. You do that when you get into a deposition or in a trial where you pull up the contradictions. Credibility is something for the trier of fact. It's not for a judge. So that's just what it is. But I mean, he tried. I get it. He wants to get this out the media. I understand why, but that would be everybody. Everybody will want it out the media. Who wants these type of allegations on them? Who wouldn't want this to go away? I mean, there's no porch light on that building. I'm just saying that's what you do. That's the purpose of some of these hearings and depositions is you lock their testimony down. So then if I know what you're saying in the deposition, the math is not matching. I'm not gonna say no. So you sure on that day, you sure on this day you were over there at the casino downtown? Oh, okay. But I probably already got your phone records and your Instagram post where you was posing in Chicago at the Taste Fest or something. You know what I'm saying? So you lock down their testimony and then you use it. So you're going to get inconsistencies and you impeach on them not being honest and all of that. So I don't know how he thought the judge was just going to say, all right, then you right. This girl, something, this ain't right. Let me just dismiss. And the judge was like, this is not how this court works. It's really what the judge was saying. So. Early morning vibe said yes because this is messing with his brand. Yeah, so that's why I said I understand because I always say don't litigate in the media, but I understand there needs to be a balance with PR when you're a celebrity because you do need to somewhat handle your fans or your followers or audience. You do have to, especially when your brand and your livelihood is dependent on it. So I get that too. It's just weighing it where you're not showing your hands. That's the best thing about all of this that we do. You don't necessarily know everything that I know. And vice versa. Like it's the battle of the litigation. It's the battle of the chess. So if I'm telling you everything that I got, but I know I got an email that's showing that or a videotape or something or a ring cam from a neighbor that shows something totally different than what you said. Oh, okay. That's what happened? Oh, okay. You sure? And that was on March 2nd? And it was at 3 o'clock. Thank you so. And then you just move on. You don't even make it seem like it's a big deal. But you in your head like, girl, I got you. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. Ray said it's like that interrogation scene from Menace to Society. You know you done effed up, don't you? A lot of times people don't ask questions they don't know the answer to. That's like 101. Of course, in discovery, you really are trying to find more information. So you may have an assumption. It may be upon information and belief, but you kind of know what you're looking for. But oftentimes when you actually are cross-examining someone and asking questions on the stand, you should know exactly for every answer, you should pretty much know what the answers are. They may not say the answers, that it's supposed to be, but you pretty much know the answer to it. And that's like 101. You should never ask a question you don't know the answer to. So Christine said, I think she was holding a teddy bear in the interview. There are some issues there. You think, Christine? You think? She said she had a head injury and she had autism. And usually people with autism, from my experience, they've been very truthful. They're very truthful individuals. But that's why if she said it was 2001, well, she's 2000 is when she said it happened. I don't know. We are all going to see. Jay-Z said he didn't do anything. Jane Doe said it happened and she's sticking by it. And she also said she's going to take a lie detector test. We haven't seen any results from a lie detector test. We don't know if she really took the lie detector test. We don't know if Busby is going to let us public know. Busby, let us know if she takes the lie detector test. We would like to see the results. I mean, we just want to know, how does that work out? You're welcome. Rev it up. Go, row, row. Thank you so much for supporting over here. I appreciate it. I don't think I've seen you over here before. Are you new? Go check out the membership, some of the videos we do, and we just kick it over there every now and then, Post documents and all of that. He said people need to stop self-snitching, let this play out in court. It's a balance. Like I said, when you're a celebrity, you have to balance between whether, I mean, do I try to savage my career? Because what happened with Diddy? Immediately people started snatching keys and proclamations and giving money back and taking away their honorary doctorates and all of that because they don't want to be affiliated with you. Jay-Z didn't have that problem. When the NFL was asked if they were going to separate from Jay-Z, they said no. What? Perhaps because partially when his attorney came out and showed this interview, the interview was one of the worst things Busby could have done, is allowing his client to do an interview, in my opinion, in this scenario. And when he came out and perhaps showed the inconsistencies, it probably made individuals affiliated with Jay-Z say, yeah, we're going to wait to see how this plays out. So it may have worked in his favor from a personal standpoint, public standpoint. It may have worked. Now we got to see what happens in these here courts. That's it. Get those likes up, y'all, because we about to head on out of here. So those are our stories for today. We talked about Jennifer Williams. Make sure you go. We did a whole mashup for New Year's with all of the cases. Talked about Jennifer on there as well. We replayed it here. But yeah, allegedly her husband's attorney is trying to get his money. And he ain't been able to get his money according to him. So we'll see if he responds and why, if this is true, why he hasn't paid him. Or maybe he'll say, I paid him. We don't know. But we shall see. And then we just updated you guys again on Jay-Z and this whole Jane Doe situation with Busby. So I think we're all caught up. For now, it's only January 2nd, 2025. And we already had a lot going on. P said they won't drop him. They just signed a new contract, 5 years. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Alice, for putting the link up there. I appreciate that. Val's Test Kitchen said Jay-Z needs Angelina Jolie's lawyer. They just finalized an 8-year divorce battle with Brad Pitt. I could have sworn they was divorced. When they were saying that they just finalized their divorce, I was like, wait, what? I forgot all about them. All right. Thank you, a sister from New Jersey. Thank you for being a member for 8 months. I appreciate that. Thank you, Rev It Up, Go Row Row. I appreciate the compliment. Michi too said thank you always. Thank you. I see a lot of y'all coming out the bushes for 2025. Thank y'all for coming out the bushes for 2025. I appreciate that. Jay-Z doesn't have the same heat on him to the level of Diddy has. That's true. Regal Melody, that is true. Thank you so much for commenting. I see a lot of new faces. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. L Essence 22. Thank you. Says she has a voice and hands of a half person. Who are we talking about? When the DA subpoena you for documents, he already knows you have what he wants on you. Somebody said something about Sonya in my chat, in the chat, and I just was like, are y'all serious with some of these comments? She don't got to get served, talking about she can avoid service because she don't live in the state. What part of she got served at the courthouse are we not getting? I was like, what? Are y'all punking me with some of this to see what type of patience I have, to see if I really talk to God on a daily basis? Because I was like, what? And if she don't have the documents, they don't know if she got them or not. How do they don't know what documents she allegedly has when she done told everybody? Like, it's all over the internet on the phone calls. I don't know, y'all. Thank you, Christine, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. A sister from New Jersey again. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we were like 2 super chats away from our goal. Can we get 2 super chats before we get off here? Just 2 super chats. That's all we need. And we're going to meet our goal. All right, y'all? Don't be jumping off of here now till we get these 2 super chats. Thank you, guys. Hit the like button. We need our 2 super chats before we get off of here. Let me see. Thank you guys for the 225 subscribers over there on my dad's thing. I appreciate that. Yeah, I did get a cash. Well, it doesn't count for the goals on here, but you're right, Kelly. I do need to look at my cash app because I did charge my phone up. Thank you, Nathaniel, for the cash app. I appreciate it. All right, we got our that's why I love y'all. K is my name. Thank you so much for the super chat. And D Dot, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate the love. Yes, I think that's it, right? Ain't we supposed to be getting 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, it's 5. We should be getting our. Did y'all get some confetti or something in the chat? Did we get some confetti? What happened? What we get? The woman he chose said, thanks for all you do. Thank you for the super chat. L Essence, thank you again for the super sticker. All right, y'all. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know why I ain't get my little confetti. Dang. Thank you. Thank you, Bees on Mars. Thank you. Let me go over here so I could get it. Mocha Pam, you said, thanks for all you do. Thank you so much for the super chat. Side West said, hey, Pam, thank you for the super chat. Bees on Mars said, happy New Year, Pam, Dev, and all the intellects. Thank you so much for continuously supporting you always over here. And the woman he chose. Thank you so much for always supporting your girl. Tam, you said, thanks for keeping us informed. Thank you for the super chat. Patty Patter, thank you for the super chat. K is my name. Said thank you, Pam. Thank you so much. D Dot. See, I asked for 2. You guys go over and beyond. I appreciate that. Christine, again, thank you so much, sis. A sister from New Jersey. Thank you again, sis. I appreciate that. Granny the Great, always looking out for you, girl. I appreciate that as well. And thank you again for all of you guys that supported my dad's platform. I appreciate all of the love. About that life. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for the super chat. GNA liked the comment, said, what did Shirley say? I don't have any money, but I gave you a like. That's good enough. Thank you so much for the support. The likes help too. So I'm out of here, y'all, till something else new happens or something great. You know, I'll come at any time to make sure you guys stay up on the legal news. So until next time, thank you guys again for all of the support. Oh, let me put on Dre for
and another thing you notice, the first thing they say, make sure you guys hit that like and the subscribe button. That's what it's all about. After they get the dog you out, before they dog you out, that's the first thing they say. If you like this video, make sure you hit.
You have 1 minute remaining.
That will always be an intellect classic. Until next time, I'll holler at you guys later.